What's up, guys? Larry here. Early morning, about 4:30 at Los Campeones in Eden Prairie. So we're going to get in back and legs today. You notice I said back and legs. Correct. Normally it would be, last couple of videos I did was legs and back, but this time we're going to do it reverse. Back is going to be the main mover, or the main movement, that's main body part, that's getting trained today. Legs is secondary. Legs going to be more pump focused. Back is going to get the majority of the load. Volume is going to be a little bit limited today because I want to get in some cardio. It's something that I'm trying to do. Got to trim up a little bit because fat back and greens has to go away at some point, and the heart has to be healthy. So I'm looking to spend no more than probably about an hour 15. So I'm going to be humping pretty quick, and the work sets are going to be limited, but I'm going to get in a lot of good work. Going to try to get in a decent amount of volume because, again, I do like volume. I think it gives a nice round shape to the muscle, and that's exactly what I'm after. So that's really all it is to it. We'll walk through it, and let's get moving.
Okay, customary with all of my back work is I start out with pull downs, and this time I'm using a medium length mag grip, and I went pretty heavy on these. Now, there is a key to this movement that I want you all to think about. What I want you all to do is to pretend that there is a cable that runs from your elbow down to your hip, and your goal is to drive or shorten that cable as much as you possibly can by driving that elbow into the hip. Now, here's the key. You see me leaning back. Even though I'm leaning back, I'm not leaning back too much where that cable, quote unquote, breaks, right? You want that cable to be straight or have a slight bend in it. So when you lean back, you have a slight bend in it. So you don't want too much of a bend. So I want you to drive those elbows down into your hips. Now keep in mind also that this is also bar specific. If I had a wide, or if I had a regular standard pull down bar where I take an overhand grip and just have it outside of my shoulders, I'm not going to worry about a straight up and down cable. What I'm going to be worried about is hitting a back double bicep while I'm putting that bar to my upper chest or to my chin area. So really, all of these cues are definitely bar dependent, but for this particular one or any grip that is similar, the goal is to pull down straight and drive the elbow into your hips. That is a major key. I find when I mentally cue myself like that, less mistakes are made in regards to that training, because if you look at it, back training is all about elbows positioning, right? So as you can see, I'm about to go into a bent over row on this Arsenal strength machine. I'm trying to pull my elbows back as far as I possibly can, given the weight that is on the apparatus right now. So again, I'm not focusing on having a cable or anything like that. Right now, I'm just trying to drive my elbows back, and I just keep driving. And then when I can't, the set is kind of over. None of these were to absolute failure. They were close, but none of them were to absolute failure. So what I want you guys to keep in mind is that when you're doing rows and you have to bend over, whether it's plate loaded, whether it's machine, whatever, whether it's free weight, I want you all to just think, drive the elbows back, cramp the back. That goes for this type of row, that goes for chest supported rows, that goes for any type of rows that you're doing, because again, elbow positioning is key. Now that was my basic power movement for the day, quote unquote. So now what I'm trying to do here is, I don't know the official name for these things, so I'm just gonna call them fancy rows. I saw Matt Jansen do them years ago, so I'm just gonna call them Jansen rows. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cramp this lat up as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to make sure I just drive as much blood as I possibly can. And again, using cues. This time I use the cable cue again. Trying to drive my elbow straight into my hip and keep that line where that cable is at straight. Try to make it not have too much bend. It's difficult to make that type of bend in this movement. You'd have to really be excessively cheating to do so. But this is an exercise I'm glad that I'm making. I'm glad I'm putting it back in. I'm going to start doing more single arm pull downs as well. Remember when that was really big and everybody was on that? Well, I'm going to start doing it again for the simple fact that I think the conversation around the execution of it needs to change a little bit. We have to think of cramping and jamming blood into the lats for that exercise, and it doesn't necessarily need to be done heavy, because it will most definitely not be done heavy in my case, as it will be a third or a fourth exercise. However, I think it does hold some type of value. I think this movement holds some type of value as well. My execution will be better, but like everyone, I strive for better execution in all the things that I do in and out of the gym, but especially here. I don't want any mistakes when it comes to certain exercises. Now, moving on, starting off with a superset for legs, and the reason being is that when you train back and legs, they can get pretty voluminous, so any way that you can condense the time that you spend inside the gym is never a bad thing. So starting off with some leg curls here, getting in about 15 reps just to fill up the blood with some muscle, and then going to our work sets. They're very they're not easy, but they're not hard, right? I knew that I was going to catch a very fast pump once I started doing this after my warm-up sets. So, I expected it, but I want you all to keep in mind that when you do perform a superset, such as this, or it may be hack squats, leg press, leg extension, when you get to your work sets, it's very important that you push the envelope and try to go to failure, for the simple fact that things could go in a direction you don't want by doing too little. You're supposed to really, really, really up the intensity. Even though this is a pump day for me, you still want to keep the intensity up as much as you possibly can. And now the last big mover of the day is the leg press. And the reason for that is that I'm doing a cluster set on it. So strap in, boys and girls, because we're going to get really into it. The goal here is to just drive as much blood into the muscle as possible. So I'm doing a cluster set, which is 6 sets of 4, 6 mini sets of 4, and with 12 to 15 seconds rest in between each mini set. Now, with that being said, started off with 4 plates. That's normally a warm-up. That's something that I think if you're going to perform a movement like this, or if you're going to perform an exercise with this type of intensity technique, I am a fan of starting a little bit lighter than normal to get a feel for the movement, because the way that it worked out for me today is that I didn't take a lot of sets ramping up to that. I know that's something that I can do, and I know that's not something for everybody. However, this is just simply what I would normally do as a warm-up set, something that I can get 15 to 20 reps on relatively easy. So that's why this particular weight was selected for the cluster set. So really pump the blood up, or really put blood into the quads with this one. And it's something that I think everyone should do, especially after your heavy work. After your heavy work, oh man, I'm telling you, the pump is absolutely ridiculous. So guys, I recommend you start adding in some type of cluster sets. Pick the set scheme that you want, but definitely add them in. Now, this is another good exercise that a lot of people don't have access to, the reverse hyper. Is for back traction, but also at the same time is to build and strengthen your posterior chain. So if you have this machine, it's not much to it. Kind of let the weight drag you forward and then kick back. Is something that I like to do a lot. It's something that I've put back into my training. So guys, there you go. Legs and back today. Really cutting down on the fluff movements, really cutting down on the fluff sets, and just really working hard on trying to be better. So guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe to the channel. Be doing more unique content, and I thank you for watching. So you take care.